Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Ariel and this is Healing with Solstice. I am a licensed therapist in New York City and I wanted to start this channel to help start to talk about some of the things that can be helpful for healing and mental health. I work with LGBT youth and young adults on healing, identity, and belonging. That is the primary focus of my work, but I also do a lot more work around identity and belonging for other folks, adults, etc. To give you a little background about what this channel will be like, I will be talking about spirituality and therapy and healing and mental health and all of the things that can help you go inwards and learn more about your internal self and how you have arrived on this earth and what you can do to support yourself through any of the mental health experiences that you have in your lifetime. The goal for me for healing is for you to become more you, more authentic, and more true to who you are. I often think that through our childhood experiences, our traumatic experiences in relationships or friendships, we tend to have layers over our true selves. Or parts of ourselves that we have hidden away because we were trying to be safe, whether that be safe in our childhood, safe at school, in our friendship group, to find belonging. We have learned to cover, hide, or diminish parts of ourselves. And it is my goal for folks to become more and more authentic, whatever that may be, loving who they truly are, loving their true timeline, loving parts of themselves that they feel shame about, understanding who they are, understanding the pieces of their identity, challenging the systems, challenging how race and class and gender and sexuality impact the way that we show up in the world, the way that we show up at work, and the way that we identify and the way that we are. And healing is learning how to be our authentic self. Because I think that through being your authentic self, through showing up as fully you don't really need a lot of the big healing, or you won't need as much of the big healing if you can learn to accept yourself. The rest of it can come a lot easier, that it could unfold a lot more seamless. We're often trying to distract away from who we truly are, distract away from what's happening in our lives, avoid hard conversations or difficult experiences. And yes, healing journeys, therapy, exploring your childhood wounds or your trauma are not easy. And there are multiple different ways to go about it. And we can talk about all of those ways. You can think about healing it somatically in your body. You can think about attacking the mental health and your mental processes. You can think about spirituality and connection with the divinity or religion or whatever that is. There are multiple different ways that you can look at healing, and everyone has their own chosen preference. And so we can talk about all of those things along with the reality of what it's like to live during this day and age. Everything that's going on politically in the world, the political climate, the world climate, post-pandemic climate. There are so many things to consider when we think about healing. And I often think that 2020, like many other pandemic moments, was a huge igniter for a lot of people, that it woke up folks to kind of think about themselves. We were sitting at home, we didn't have much else but our own brains. And so I hope that if it wasn't 2020 or whenever it was that you've decided to go on your healing journey, or when you have decided to pause and look inward and figure out who you are and, feel better in your body, that you could take time to figure out how to unpack everything that you've been through to become more you. So that's the goal of this channel, is to help folks become more authentically them, more authentically grounded in who they are, and more aligned with their true desires, their true wants and needs. And we'll be talking about ways to do that. How to unpack our family dynamics, how to unpack the dynamics that impact our current relationships and friendships, why we notice certain patterns that are happening in our lives from day to day. If you're someone that experiences a pattern over and over and over at work, in relationships, with community and your family, understanding why those kind of patterns show up, understanding what traumatic experiences do to your body, mind, and soul, and figuring out ways to soothe, to self-soothe, to self-regulate, and ultimately to feel better in your body. So thank you for joining me. I hope you stay here. And if you have any questions, you're always welcome to email me or put it in the comments. See you next time. Bye.